A lot of people won't believe me, but I am. So it's just, I think now it's time to process everything through it.
Luka Doncic's ex-girlfriend just dropped a legal bomb on him. She filed for child support and took their daughters right in the middle of the NBA playoff race.
Honestly, I don't know. It's just I'm mentally kind of exhausted for everything that happened.
Luka describes the ordeal as mentally exhausting, as fans speculate that this drama could spiral into something disastrous for his career. The foundation. To understand what is really happening here, you have to go back to the beginning. Not the Lakers chapter, not even the Dallas chapter, the real beginning, which starts not in an NBA arena, but on a Croatian island in the summer when Luka Doncic was 12 years old. Luka Doncic and Anamarija Goltes were childhood acquaintances from Slovenia, who first crossed paths around the age of 12 on the Croatian island of Krk. No NBA, no social media platform, no multi-million-dollar contract. Two Slovenian kids on a summer vacation island. That is where this story begins. They did not start dating then. Years passed between that first meeting and when the relationship became official. They began dating in 2016, and by that year, Luka had already been in Spain for 3 years, playing professional basketball for Real Madrid. He had left Slovenia at 13, left his mother, left his friends, left every piece of the familiar world he had grown up in, and moved to a foreign country to chase something that most people could not yet see. His mother, Miriam Podobin, described what the early years of that separation cost her personally.
It was crazy hard. I even cannot explain how hard this was. I was crying. I was there every weekend. I came Friday, I left on Sunday.
She flew in every Friday and out every Sunday, and she cried every time. But Luka stayed. He ground through the loneliness, the foreign language, and the pressure of professional basketball as a teenager. And surviving all of that before he was 15 years old made him someone who had learned to handle distance and separation as a baseline condition of his life. Before Spain, before any of the professional basketball, there was something else in Luka's childhood. His parents had divorced when he was young. His mother was asked about it in that interview.
Maybe basketball, because it was hard for him, of course.
Basketball. That is what she said got him through the divorce. And then,
like for every kid, I try to do as much easy as it's possible, but it's hard.
she tried to make it easier. It was still hard. And the reason this is relevant right now is because the child who watched his parents' relationship end when he was young is now watching his own relationship end. Except now, there are two daughters aged 2 years and 3 months old, and there is an NBA playoff race in progress, and there is a California court petition with his name on it. History in Luca's life has a pattern of circling back at the worst possible time. When Luca and Anamarija officially became a couple in 2016, the relationship carried the weight of long distance almost from the start. Anamarija Goltes had built her own career as a Slovenian model, influencer, and entrepreneur. She was not someone who needed his platform to have one of her own. She had her own following, her own business ventures, her own identity in the European digital and fashion space. She did not borrow his fame. She built something alongside it. Goltes was often based in Slovenia or traveling while Luka focused on his career. No tabloid drama, no public blow-ups, no cheating headlines. Just a couple doing the work of keeping something real together across thousands of miles and a significant time zone gap. For years it held. In an earlier interview, Luka's mother confirmed the relationship in passing, the way you confirm a fixed fact about someone's life rather than something that needs explaining.
And he still has a girlfriend, right?
Yes.
And he loves dogs?
That's definitely.
That was it, yes. No elaboration, the relationship was a given. It had been real for long enough that it required no justification. Then came July 7th, 2023, and Luka did exactly what you would expect Luka Doncic to do. On July 7th, 2023, a date chosen deliberately to match his jersey number 77, Luka Doncic proposed to Anamarija Goltes, the 7th day of the 7th month, his number on the calendar. The same precision he applies to every decision on the basketball court. They announced the engagement publicly. 4 months later, the first daughter arrived. Gabriella was born on November 30th, 2023, in the United States. Luka was now engaged and a father in the same year. 2 years after that, their second daughter, Olivia, was born on December 4th, 2025, in Slovenia. By that point, the trade to the Los Angeles Lakers had already happened. The world they had built together in Dallas was already a chapter that had ended, and the cracks that the public could not see were already spreading. Luka traveled to Slovenia Slovenia for Olivia's birth, missing a couple of Lakers games to be there. What happened during that trip, in a hospital in the Slovenian city of Kranj, is the moment this story changed permanently. It would not surface publicly for 3 more months, and when it did surface, it would blow the entire situation wide open. The relationship that had started on a Croatian island when Luka was 12, that had lasted through his rise from Real Madrid to Dallas to Los Angeles, ended after nearly 10 years together and more than 2 years engaged. His mother had said it plainly in that old interview, what she wanted most for Luka, above everything.
First of all, from my perspective, I want him to be happy. That's number one, and I know his happiness is connected to the basketball.
Happy, connected to basketball. But happiness is also connected to the family you build around the basketball. And that family, as of March 2026, is no longer intact. And the way it came apart is something that Luka's fans are still trying to comprehend. The unraveling. Something shifted on Ana Maria Goltez's Instagram in the weeks leading up to March 2026. It started quietly, the kind of subtle rearrangement that only the most attentive followers would catch at first. A photo gone here, a tagged post absent there, small individual deletions that, taken alone, might mean nothing, but the deletions kept coming, and they kept adding up, and within a matter of weeks, what had been happening quietly in the background became impossible to interpret as anything other than exactly what it was. Over the course of several weeks, with the activity intensifying in early to mid-March 2026, Goltez deleted or archived nearly all photos and videos featuring Luka Doncic from her Instagram profile. Not a single photo, not one memory pulled down while the rest remained, nearly all of them. The feed that had, for years, carried the visual record of a decade-long relationship was being methodically cleared, one post at a time, with the kind of deliberate sequencing that leaves no question about intent. And then, the highlight reels. She removed the love highlight reel, the dedicated section she had built specifically to archive their relationship. That collection, built over years, representing milestones and moments she had chosen to preserve publicly, was gone. She unpinned the 2023 engagement announcement from the top of her profile, the same announcement she had made in the glow of a July 7th proposal designed around his jersey number, pinned to the front of her page as a declaration, as a statement of direction and future, was now stripped from its position, buried, unpromoted, as though it had never been pinned at all. She left only posts related to their daughters. The children remained visible, but the man who fathered those children was gone from her page entirely. Goltez also posted a cryptic Instagram story with the text 2016 to 2026, 10 years, marked in a hashtag. The exact start date of this relationship and the current year, placed side by side as though stamping a formal end date on an archive. She did not write Luka's name. She did not post a photo. She did not offer an explanation, an accusation, or a call for sympathy. She posted 2 years and a word and left the audience to interpret, and the audience interpreted correctly. Anyone who knew those dates understood that 2016 was when they had started, and that the post was a decade-long goodbye delivered in 3 characters and a hashtag. Luka had not posted about Ana Maria for some time either, both parties silent about each other simultaneously, one actively stripping the record, the engagement announcement unpinned, the decade archived with a cryptic story, the mutual public quiet that speaks louder than any statement ever could. This was not a rough patch. This was not 2 people taking space during a difficult stretch of an NBA season. The digital architecture of the relationship was being dismantled from the inside. What gave this particular weight was who Ana Maria Goltez had been throughout the relationship on social media. She was not someone who had used their partnership as content. She had not live posted their relationship for engagement or performed the romance for follower growth. The love highlight had existed because it was genuine. The engagement post had been pinned because it represented a real and meaningful moment in her life. The photos had been there because they had meant something to her. She had built a digital presence that reflected her life, not one designed around amplifying his fame. So when she pulled all of it down, methodically, completely, leaving only the children, the act carried the full weight of someone who had been real with her audience and was now being real again. She was not being dramatic for attention. She was closing a door with the same quiet precision she had used to open it, and the audience recognized it for exactly what it was. Sports media and social platforms erupted. NBA forums, celebrity gossip accounts, and entertainment pages, all of them were running the story, based entirely on the Instagram evidence before any official confirmation existed. The speculation was already at a fever pitch, and then a second layer arrived. Unconfirmed reports began circulating that Luka Doncic had followed and been followed back by actress Madeline Klein, known for the Netflix series Outer Banks. Some outlets ran with it. The timing, layered on top of the Instagram purge purge and the cryptic decade stamp added fuel that the story did not need but received anyway. Neither Luka Doncic nor Madeline Klein addressed or confirmed any romantic connection between them. The story remained unverified, a rumor without a foundation, but on social media, ambiguity is not a brake on a rumor, it is the throttle. In that environment, the page-wide erasure, the 2016-2026 story, the mutual silence, the follow-back rumors, the internet had already reached its verdict long before any court filing or official statement confirmed it. The NBA's most stable and private long-term celebrity couple was over. The only remaining question was when someone official would say so. After Luka's February 2025 trade to the Los Angeles Lakers, the structural challenges of long-distance family life had compounded significantly. Goltis had returned to Slovenia in May 2025, carrying a toddler, managing a new home base in Europe, and navigating the transition away from the Dallas life they had shared. The NBA season stretches from October to June. Los Angeles to Ljubljana is 9 hours forward in time and 10,000 kilometers in geography. Two daughters do not synchronize their needs to an NBA road trip schedule. By late 2025 and into early 2026, signs of strain had emerged, tied directly to those long-distance pressures and the relentless demands of the NBA calendar. And underneath all of the Instagram evidence and the social media speculation, there was a private story, something that had happened in a hospital in Slovenia in December 2025 that the public had not yet heard. Something that had already fundamentally altered the course of this relationship weeks before a single photo was deleted from anyone's profile. That story became public on March 10th, 2026, and it broke everything wide open. The filing, the statement, and the day it all became official. March 10, 2026 started like most NBA Tuesdays. Teams preparing for games, press conferences in the afternoon, the Western Conference playoff race moving forward game by game, night by night. And then TMZ Sports dropped its report, and none of it was a normal Tuesday anymore. TMZ Sports was first to report that Ana Maria Goltis had filed a petition in Los Angeles County Superior Court seeking child support and attorney's fees for their two minor daughters, Gabriella, age 2, and Olivia, approximately 3 months old. The filing landed like a detonation. After weeks of Instagram forensics and social media speculation, a court document filed in the California legal system was the hard confirmation that none of this was a rumor, none of it was exaggerated, and none of it was going to quietly resolve itself in the background. This was a legal proceeding. This was child support being sought through a superior court. This was real, documented, and now in the public record. Goltis and both daughters were reportedly living in Slovenia at the time of the filing. She had returned there in May 2025. The petition was filed in California, specifically the jurisdiction where Luka is based, which meant it was a legal move calibrated to reach him where he lives and works. The filing sought child support. It sought attorney's fees. It did not request formal custody orders at this stage, but the strategic architecture of the move was clear. Goltis was establishing a formal, court-supervised financial framework for the support of their daughters, a binding legal structure, not an informal arrangement between two private parties. Sources close to the situation said Luka had no idea the filing was coming. He was blindsided. The man in the middle of a playoff race, who had been providing for the family throughout the entire relationship, found out through media reports that a child support petition had been filed in his name in a California court. He did not receive prior communication. He did not have a warning. One Tuesday morning, it was public. Sources said he had always provided for the family financially, without limitation. And yet, here was a formal legal petition demanding that support be codified and supervised by a court. Later that day, March 10th, still, Luka Doncic confirmed the split directly to ESPN, issuing a statement himself, rather than routing it through a representative. His full statement, in his own words: "I love my daughters more than anything, and I've been doing everything I can for them to be with me in the US during the season, but that hasn't been possible. So I recently made the tough decision to end my engagement. Everything I do is for my daughter's happiness, and I will always fight to be with them and give them the best life I can." Read that statement once, and then read it again, because there is a significant amount happening beneath the surface of those two sentences. The first thing to notice is that Luka said he made the decision to end the engagement. He did not frame this as something that happened to him. He took ownership of the call. Publicly, in his first statement on the matter, Luka positioned himself as the person who ended the relationship relationship, not the person who had been left. That framing matters enormously in how the public received the story, particularly given that the legal filing, the Instagram purge, and the first public moves had all come from Goltes's side. The second thing to notice is the reason he gave. He did not reach for vague, legally polished language about irreconcilable differences or a mutual decision to go separate ways. He was specific. He could not get his daughters to the United States during the season. That was the reason. Not a breakdown in communication, not a betrayal, not a fundamental incompatibility. Geography. His children are in Slovenia. He is in Los Angeles. The NBA season is 8 months long. He wants them with him. That has not been possible. And that impossibility is what he said broke the relationship apart. The third thing to notice is the absence of any anger or accusation in the statement. There is no attack on Anna Maria, no suggestion of bad faith, no language designed to damage her publicly. The entire statement is focused on the daughters, their happiness, his fight to be with them, his commitment to give them the best life he can. This is the deliberate framing of a man who has thought about what it means for his daughters to one day read what their father said publicly about their mother during the worst week of his life. Meanwhile, Anna Maria Goltes stayed silent. She made no statement to the media. She posted nothing on Instagram addressing the coverage. She gave no interviews. She issued no response. Her side of the story was being told entirely through actions. The legal petition in California, the comprehensive Instagram purge, and the return to Slovenia with both daughters. Those moves communicated what she needed to communicate. She had no further statement to make because she had already made her move through the court system. She was not playing to public opinion. She was playing through a legal process. And until the process produced results, there was nothing more to say. ESPN covered the story with the full custody context and the hospital incident. TMZ had the legal filing. The New York Post ran the Instagram purge and relationship confirmation. AP and Yahoo Sports confirmed the story independently. By the end of March 10, 2026, it was a fully confirmed, widely reported, legally documented breakup and custody dispute, the biggest personal story to hit the NBA that season. As of the reporting, Luka had not seen his daughters or Anna Maria since returning to the US after Olivia's birth in December 2025. 3 months of separation, a newborn he had flown across the world to hold, and then had not seen since. And the specific story of what happened in that December hospital, the moment that appears to have fractured this relationship beyond repair, had only just begun to surface in the reporting. What happened in Cranj and why Luka hasn't seen his daughters in 3 months. December 4th, 2025, Cranj, Slovenia, a hospital maternity ward. Luka Doncic has just flown across 10 time zones, walked away from Lakers games mid-season, and crossed an ocean to be present for the birth of his second daughter, Olivia. And by the end of that night, or the days immediately following, something has gone so severely wrong between him and Anna Maria Goltes that she has called the police. Slovenian media, later referenced and confirmed by ESPN, reported that shortly after Olivia's birth, a disagreement escalated between Luka Doncic and Anna Maria Goltes inside the hospital. The precise subject of that argument has not been disclosed publicly. What was disclosed is what came next. Goltes called the police. In a maternity ward in the city of Cranj, in the hours surrounding the birth of a newborn, a disagreement between two parents escalated to the point where one of them picked up the phone and called law enforcement. Slovenian officers responded to the hospital. They assessed the situation. They found no elements of a criminal offense, no charges, no arrest, no formal allegation of any crime committed by anyone. The police arrived, looked at what was in front of them, determined that nothing criminal had occurred, and closed their involvement there. Luka left the hospital peacefully, and then he flew back to the United States for the NBA season. He has reportedly not seen his daughters or Anna Maria Goltes since that day. This December hospital incident broke the contact entirely, and as of the day the story went public in March 2026, that separation was still fully in place. The police being called, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the fact that no crime was found, is a rupture. It is the kind of event that does not get filed away and forgotten. It creates a record. It creates an atmosphere. It creates a memory that lives in the minds of everyone who was in that room, that floor, that hospital. Both Luka and Anna Maria know what was said and what happened. Neither has addressed the specifics of it publicly, but every single action that followed, the return to the US, the 3 months of no contact, the comprehensive Instagram purge, the California court petition, the child support filing he was blindsided by, traces its origin directly back to that December night in Cranj. Sources close to Luka described the overall situation situation as a custody battle, not a post-breakup negotiation, not an amicable uncoupling being handled quietly through lawyers. A custody battle, the kind of extended, contested, cross-border legal conflict that does not resolve itself in a season. A transatlantic dispute between a father who lives in Los Angeles and a mother who lives in Slovenia, with two daughters under the age of 2 sitting in the middle of the Atlantic between them. The petition was filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, the jurisdiction covering Luca's location. It sought child support and attorney's fees. It did not seek formal custody orders at this stage, but the legal infrastructure being built around the financial support of these two daughters, the formalization of what had previously been an informal arrangement, is the foundation of what could become a much larger and more contested legal process if a formal custody dispute follows. Sources said Luca had always provided financially for the family without limitation and was blindsided by the filing. He found out through the media. He did not receive a phone call warning him it was coming. He woke up on March 10th to TMZ Sports telling the world that a child support petition had been filed in his name in a California court by the woman he had been engaged to for 2.5 years and with whom he had shared a decade of his life. That detail, the blindsiding, the discovery through media, sharpens the dynamic between the two sides in ways that Luca's own statement is deliberately careful not to address directly. The geography of this dispute is one of the most difficult elements to resolve. Luca is pushing for more time with his daughters in the US during the NBA season. His career is in Los Angeles. His income is tied to his presence and performance in the NBA. He has signed a 3-year extension. He cannot move to Slovenia. Anna Maria, on the other hand, returned to Slovenia in May 2025, and she has every logical reason to stay there. Her career, her family network, her support system, and her roots are all in Slovenia. Olivia was literally born there. The girls have a life in Europe that exists independently of Luca's NBA calendar. As of March 11, 2026, Goltes had not broken her public silence. No statement, no Instagram post addressing the coverage, no media interview, nothing from her side in words. Every communication she is making is happening through the California court system and through the deliberate, documented absence of Luka Doncic from her Instagram profile. She is not playing this out in the press. She is building a legal case. And the legal case is only at its beginning. The collision at the center of this story is not about money. Luka Doncic earns enough money to make the child support conversation straightforward. The real collision is about where two very young daughters are going to grow up, how much access a father playing in the NBA in Los Angeles is going to have to them, and whether a December hospital incident in Kranj, Slovenia, sets the terms of that access for the years ahead. That collision is what creates the career question. The career. The question this entire story keeps circling back to is the one that lives on every sports page and in every NBA press conference room right now. What does this do to Luka Doncic on the basketball court? The statistics at this precise moment say nothing, or rather, they say everything is fine. Luka Doncic is averaging 32.5 points, 8.4 assists, and 7.8 rebounds per game in his first full season with the Los Angeles Lakers following the February 2025 trade. Those are MVP caliber numbers that do not suggest a man who is distracted or diminished. The Lakers sit at 39-25 and are fighting for position deep in the Western Conference playoff race. He has not missed any recent games because of the personal situation. On paper, the basketball machine is still running exactly as designed, but the story that the statistics tell you right now is the story of the past, the story of last week and last month, and the months before the filing dropped on March 10th. The real question, the one that nobody can answer yet, is what the next 6 to 8 weeks look like as the legal process begins to move forward, as the playoff race intensifies, and as Luka Doncic carries the full weight of a custody battle he was blindsided by while being the most important player on a team that needs him fully present every single night. In a short video clip, Luka himself said something that has taken on a different dimension in the context of everything now unfolding. When asked about going through something enormous, something mentally taxing, and what it takes out of you, he said,
Honestly, I don't know. It's just I'm mentally kind of exhausted for everything that happened,
mentally exhausted. His own words in his own voice about what happens when you go through something that hits at that scale. And then he continued.
I know a lot of people won't believe me, but I am. So it's just, I think now it's time to process everything through it.
People might not believe him, but he is exhausted. He needs time to process everything. That is not the language of someone who has drawn a clean line between his personal life and his professional one. That is the language of someone still living inside a situation that has not yet found its edges, still in the thick of something that requires time and space to fully absorb. Whether those words were spoken in the context of the custody situation or an earlier challenge, the sentiment they carry resonates with a sharpness right now that is impossible to ignore. The counterweight to all of this is Luka's history. His entire life has been a masterclass in performing under pressure that would break most people. He left home at 13. He survived European professional basketball as a teenager in a foreign country. He carried the Dallas Mavericks deep into the playoffs before he was old enough to drink in the United States. He has been the most scrutinized young player in basketball for the better part of a decade, and through all of it, he has not only held up under the weight, he has typically elevated his game when the weight got heavier. His mother articulated this dynamic precisely in that old interview.
Actually, those pressures, it's easier for him. He even plays better when he feels the pressure.
He plays better when he feels the pressure. That has been the consistent pattern across his entire career. A Game 7, a must-win stretch, a playoff series against a team that is supposed to beat him. These are the conditions under which Luka Doncic has historically risen to something beyond what he was doing in the regular season. He does not wilt, he sharpens, but there is a meaningful distinction between basketball pressure and the pressure of a transatlantic custody battle involving a newborn he has not seen in 3 months. A Game 7 has a start time and an end time. A custody battle does not. It continues after the buzzer. It follows him onto the team plane. It is in his inbox while he is in the shoot-around. It is the subject of questions from reporters who would rather ask him about playoff positioning, but cannot ignore the elephant in every press conference room. The Daily Mail ran a reader poll asking directly whether the custody fight will affect Luka's performance. That is how far this story has traveled, from NBA sports pages into general entertainment and international tabloid territory, the kind of coverage that follows an athlete everywhere they go. Multiple outlets have characterized the situation as a full custody and support battle spanning the US and Slovenia. Legal hearings will need to be scheduled. Attorneys are involved on both sides. Negotiations about financial support, visitation structure, and the broader custody arrangement are either underway or about to begin. Every one of those steps requires time, mental bandwidth, and engagement from Luka, a man who is simultaneously being asked to be the best basketball player on earth for the next 2 months. Luka is pushing to have his daughters with him in the US during the season. He said so himself. This is not a man who is trying to minimize his involvement with his children. He is a man who cannot get to them, who has not been able to get to them for 3 months, and who is now watching the legal mechanism that might eventually bring them closer to him, only just beginning to grind into motion. Luka's 3-year, $165 million extension, signed last summer, means his financial and professional stability is fully secured. No trade is coming from this. No roster disruption is tied to his personal life. His position in Los Angeles is locked in. The money is there, the team is there, and the organization is there around him. The basketball stability is not the variable. The variable is everything else. The variable is a man averaging 32.5 points per game while simultaneously navigating the end of a decade-long relationship, a custody arrangement for 2 daughters under the age of 2, and the emotional residue of a December hospital incident that has kept him separated from those daughters for 3 months. The variable is what happens when the playoff bracket is set and the series go to 5 games and a court date is scheduled in the middle of it. The variable is what a newborn's absence does to a father over the long stretch of an NBA playoff run. His mother's voice stays with you when you think about all of this. In that interview, when she was asked what she wanted most for Luka's future, more than wins, more than trophies, more than records, she simply said she wanted his happiness, and that happiness is connected to basketball. But his daughters are also his happiness. And right now, the basketball and the daughters are in 2 different countries, being pulled in 2 different directions by a legal process that is only at its beginning. The basketball can wait for no one. The Lakers' playoff race is happening right now, regardless of what is in the court filings, but the custody battle cannot be paused for a postseason run either. That is the collision. That is what is happening to Luka Doncic in March 2026. Not a broken leg, not a suspension, not a trade demand, but something quieter and in many ways heavier than any of those things. So, do you think Luka can come out of this breakup scandal without his career suffering? Let me know what you think in the comments section. For more videos like this, click on this next card on your screen.